Leave me never. And I had my headphones, and I had a tape called Lisa Lisa. I should start that story over. That's a good story. Anyway. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name is Marge. I'm a Heyoke empath. I just like to have these little talks on the way I feel about things. I was just thinking because of the song that came on. It's Lisa Lisa and Colt Jam. Now that I think about that. Anyway. We, for a spell, what year is that? My 6th, 7th? There was a few months in there. Mom was dating a guy, and we lived in one of those motels alongside the interstate. Looked like the Bates Motel, you know? And where it was like a kitchenette, dinette. It was like 1 bedroom, bathroom. Well, it was me, my mom, my brother. We were all, you know, we make the best out of all situations. So anyway, the managers didn't, the guy was leaving one day, the dude, and he was a freaking he's a loser. But, you know, mom has a good heart, so she likes the broken birds. And, so he was leaving one day or coming or going or something and hit the dog of the manager and it killed it. You know, the dog was known for chasing cars. It didn't matter, so we had to leave, and so we had to go stay with him for a few months. 3.6 miles or 4.2 it was mileage is what the address was, up Backbone Ridge, up out of Jones Valley in Redding, California. And so we had our old beer, Mercury. Was the Biscayne, 64 Chevy Biscayne. No? Maybe. Anyway, we had all those old cars, you know, with the screwdriver, you know, or wiggle the wire, or, you know. Sometimes you gotta freaking hit twitch the radio knob to help get the wiring to get the freaking windshield. Cars with tricks. If you don't know what those are, then you're missing out. So I listened to Lisa Lisa and Colt Jam because we had a long drive and it was a dirt road, bumpy road. You know, it's like living in the past. So I like to hang. I like music. For me, I decided I'm landing on this. Music for me are like my tattoos. They remind me of places I were at points in time in history. And any other power I give to the artist and what the artist is for, you know, or they for God, or, you know, that's on them. That ain't up to me because I am for God. I'm a person of God. I believe in God. I'm a faithful person because I've seen too many examples of dialogue. I'm going to kind of piggyback on what Zach was talking about a little while ago on his life, you know. And I think about this. Oh, you know, people are all, oh, Satan, Lucifer. What is that? What is that? What is Satan, Lucifer? My perception, from my understanding, I understand that all that is when a human being lives for themselves first and everything else second. So all these people crying and hollering, look at where you're putting yourself first in your life, and I'll look where I'm putting myself first in my life. And we'll see if we can't change the trajectory of this timeline on this planet from which it's headed. Because we don't have enough people that are accountable for themselves, that have that little voice in them. They don't have the angel and the devil, or they do, and they keep listening to do what you want to do. That's what the devil says. Do what you want to do. Just do it. Don't you want to go out and just be, you know, get wasted and have sex with lots of people and, you know, just do everything you want to do is what the devil tells you to do. And people are like, okay, that sounds like a heck of a deal. And I'm like, dude, that is so selfish. I don't even get it. I don't even get the world. I'm not that smart. I'm not. I mean, I'm smart in some areas, but like as far as people, because I am an open book. If I'm mad, I flash, I rage. I don't freaking throw things and break things. I grew out of that. Mom said the other day been getting a lot better with that ain't easy for me because it just kind of takes me over when I come up with some bullshit in life. When I come up and some asshole is like freaking being a dick to me at the store because he feels inferior. You know? I just think about all this gender stuff. All this, everybody's doing all this gender, they're talking about all this gender stuff. I'm just like, well, I'm a female. I've always been a woman, but when I was a little girl, man, I wanted to be a little boy. I did. Because then I could get away with doing the things that I like to do. Because it was so gender segregated then. Because that's all they do is they're just trying to create division. You know? And so when I wanted to be a boy because the girls that I liked boys, and they would never like girls like me. So I wanted a boy just so the girls that I like would like me. That's about as deep as it got. You know? And in Zach's talk, you know, they started talking about homosexuality and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, Marge, easy, Turbo. Because the offense is my choice. You know, I see, you know, and it's just like, you know, well, maybe if I wasn't, you know, if a man wouldn't have raped me when I was a 10-month-old baby, maybe I wouldn't be gay. Maybe I'd be a heterosexual female and I'd, you know, freaking be living in podunk whatever with a husband, you know, doing all the stuff at home. Maybe, maybe not. But we will never know. Because I am not a heterosexual female. Ain't into hairy butts. So, that's cool. Procreation is for all the others. I thought about having a kid, but then it's just like there's so many organizations and businesses, you know, there's kids all over the place that need parents. So maybe I'll be able to be a parent, or at least a life mentor of some sort, foster or do something like that at some point, you know. And just teach kids. That's all I'm doing on this video, on my talks, is just talking to young, middle-aged, old people, whoever wants to listen, that the problems that you have when you were young are the same problems that you're going to have when you get older if you don't heal whatever causes those problems, or whatever leads you to solutions that you find solutions in. I can't tell you, I didn't understand for years. I must have went to meetings of Friends of Bill W. for frickin' 10, 12, 13 years. And then I was just like, you know, they kept talking about how alcohol's a depressant. Alcohol's a depressant. And I'm just like, it makes me happy every single time. Well, yeah, when I'm doing it. But there's the whole full circle of the system of how your body processes it and what it does to you and what it does to me. Puts me in a very low vibrational state. And sometimes I'll do things that I would never consider doing in sobriety. You know? It's been used as a tool for manipulation for a long time. I don't know how many girls I've heard stories my whole entire life, you know, chicks sleeping with dudes, that you know, they didn't want to, and their beer goggles on or whatever. People making all these bad choices because they put you in a lower vibrational state because you're listening to that devil. Instead of, you know, some days I can't find my peace and serenity. That's all I live to do, is just live from a place and some days I'm eagerly looking for my peace and serenity. And I can't find it anywhere. And I get all twisted up, and then I remember, okay, are you hungry today? Are you tired? Not getting enough sleep? Usually that's a factor. You know? But check in, it's just energy, and energy comes in waves. I was looking at weather. I check in on weather. Because weather is energy, and it just moves in waves. And usually it's like the stuff that happens in Sacramento, like the temperatures, they'll get like a spike in the heat, you know, and then it'll like go back down to normal. And then now I'm finding, because I live in a different place where I've never lived before, that we get it like a day and a half after they do. We start getting the temperature wise, and then it goes back down, and then freaking Texas or Oklahoma, and then it'll just, you know, there's this little heat wave that's going. It's energy. Everything goes in energy. And data and information, it all travels through light. So when spring comes around and the sun gets closer to us again, photosynthesis, all that stuff, all the synthesis, all this, we're getting freaking rapid fire information and data. If people are willing to receive. If they're not willing to receive, then they're going to put things on it like, look at all the manic people. So many people are manic, you know. It's the energy. It's spring. Everybody's been hibernating for the last couple months. Been shut in. A lot of people still are. You know, they got all this energy to burn. It's the cycles of life. Everything goes in cycles. Everything happens in cycles. I'm seriously trying to look because my birthday's coming up, and it's a cycle that I do around my birth to Earth Day. I start thinking my detriment or anybody's detriment around me. Because, see, it's not just about me. I really try to live that way. Sometimes I gotta do stuff for me. I got to. Everybody does. You gotta you can't put everything else in life in. That's an imbalance. You know? Some days, I mean, I got my mom, we hang out, and then I got the dogs. You know, so that's a lot of other things that I may need to make sure that they're cared for and proper, you know. And I always treat them like I want to be treated. I'm giving mom choices all day long. Mom, you want broccoli? You want scrambled eggs? You want broccoli and scrambled eggs? Want some cheese on it? What kind of, you know, I'm always giving her stuff because when you take people's choices away, then they stop learning how to think for themselves. People lose that ability. Not everybody thinks, man. Most people really don't think, and I gotta come from a freaking soft heart. Because I know how to do a lot of stuff. I have the initiative, I have the moxie, I have the personality, and I think about my alchemy, because I'm Aries sun, right? But all my other signs, they're freaking water. No earth. None. Water and air. So what happens, thinking in alcheminic way, almimicky way, think of that's cool, whatever, in a way, this is the only song I can play on bass. Love Cats. The Cure. We move like Cajun tigers. Anyway, so like with my planets and moving away, you know, something happens. A speed bump of life, and then I get steam because of the positions of my other planets, right? So it's always so I gotta be mindful. You're just experiencing this. You're just watching this, you know? Because my old programming, I just want to react. I just want to put you. And you know what? I have learned, and I don't always do it. I would say 8 times out of 10. But I can realize where I was wrong. And I might not do it right in that second. I try to. Well, I'll go back, and if I freaking flashed and gone off somebody or just been stupid for no apparent reason, where I made a perception and said something that I shouldn't have, I'll make it right, and I'll go back and I'll make and that's how you. Otherwise, if I don't do that, sometimes, I mean, you live in a small town, you know, you don't know who you're gonna see. People are, you know, do freaking weird things, you know. Back when I was growing up, they'd slit your tires, put sugar in your gas tank. You know, it didn't matter. Just someone's like, hey, you're an asshole. I'm going to do something fucked up to you. Playground justice. Schoolyard justice. So, you know, I've done plenty of things. I am no little angel. I just really try to keep balance. I don't. My intention in life is to not hurt other people, because I've been hurt so much in this incarnation, you know, that I don't want to put that on another human being. You know, I want to reverse that vibe. I want to take people that have been hurt and help teach them how to soothe themselves, right? Because mostly I think that's what people get tripped up on. That's why people know that people have when they're telling me who I am and what I am and you're this and you're that, they're telling me about the character defects that they see in me, but they're reflecting from themselves and they don't like about themselves. So most of the time when people, I'm like, all right, that's the way you see me, and then I'm like, well, that's how you are. And then I don't feel as so bad when they don't want to be friends. And I'm saying stuff too. That people are picking up on and they're like, I don't want to listen to her. I ain't in alignment with her. I'm a contrarian. I contradict myself all the time because I'm always getting data light. I'm always getting in new information. Oh, okay, I can see how that could be. One thing I'm not for is harming human beings, animals, all that stuff. And when people do that, they're playing the Luciferian tarot theater because they're doing it for power, property, prestige, all this external stuff that there's negative weight and connotations and karma that come with that. You can't act like that. You can't hurt other people. And there are so many people that have found that if people are hurt, they can make a lot of money from that, hurting people. If people are hurt, what stress does to the human body, I'm really surprised I've never had an ulcer. I also walk around breathing through my stomach a lot. In the book, and when I lived in Arizona, they made fun of me. You have too much post-traumatic stress. You should tell. This is just weird. Nobody should have to deal with this weirdness. You're just too weird. Oh, all right. Anyway, yeah, I understand that putting other people first is an imbalance, and that's why I really make a lot of efforts to not to do things to take care. And that's why I meditate. Meditating an hour, 30 minutes, an hour. That is just like, it's like getting an 8 hour, see, because I call sleeping my night shift, because I believe my spirit ventures out into higher dimensions and just is living a different timeline that are going on at all the other times that I'm awake, but I just get to actively participate because I'm conscious and focused in my consciousness, and so to me, meditate state, if I can do that an hour during the day, it's like getting that break that I get for however many hours of sleep I get at night. Usually I don't get a lot. But still, it's plugging into source, to God. All right, I pray all day long. God, please help me. God, help me all day. I'm just talking to God, just doing chores, trying to stay busy, talking to God. And then when I meditate, God, that is when I'm opening up the transmission, the receiver, to receive. And see, and some of the things that I'm contending with and have contend with, just because it's the setup of which it's the place I live, and that's just because I'm supposed to be there. But I'm pretty sure God, if what people keep saying, I don't know, maybe it's not true, maybe it's a bunch of crap too. We'll see. But if you set your intentions, then and if it's reasonable, God will see that those intentions are met. And I just want to, we don't even need a 2-bedroom place. 1-bedroom place is fine. As long as it has a fenced-in yard that is pet friendly and not full of cactuses and on a steep hill and, just in a garage where I can do my inventing and my tinkering and my projects. Then I can just put stuff on, and then I can just be right there and then open the space up for other people to come visit. I've done a lot of traveling. I've been a lot of places. I wonder how many miles I've put on my soul sack. Just from because I always had when I was a credit card vendor. Oh, I'm getting the karma from that now. But when I go to college campus for my, someone I used to know worked for them. They'd go to college campuses, get a bag of M&Ms or a T-shirt, sign up for a credit card. You don't ever have to use it, But how many college kids have that discernment? Especially, kids usually go to college, usually get to do whatever they want. So, usually mom and dad will end up covering their ass too, right? So, but I get these assignments and then I drive around to places. So I've been and I've driven all over California. I've been all over California. Places that people would just be like, oh, this is just desert. Yeah, most of California is a lot of, it's just, most of these states, the terrain it carries over across its borders, they're all the same land. Then you have the ley lines, and then that draws people to certain places basically based on their frequency. I spent a lot of time on the 40th parallel. Yeah, the 40th parallel. I was born close to the 35th. And Oregon spent the last 4 years in the 45th parallel. Didn't really particularly like that vibe much. People in that vibe, it's a low vibrational frequency. See, puddles of people, that's what a town is. And you get a frequency, and if you get people in a low vibrational zone, we're trying to be that high vibration to get everybody to look up and be like, hey, there's a lot more to life you're missing out on. They don't, everything that they said in here. And does time really exist? Because when I look at my Apple device over here, it says 1304. So it's 104. But when I look at it over here, my other Apple device, it says 1257. So which one is true and which one is false? And sometimes when there's as much as 20 minutes between these two devices. And I think that's funny because it's like, okay, if I go buy a device, what devices, if I'm supposed to meet somebody, what timepiece are they, what clock are they going, what clock are they going on? Miscommunication. Time's not even real, dude. Everything we live, every part of our reality, we are going along. We're trying to create a world that we live in, going along by just stuff that other people made up. My whole life, my spirit is like, this is stupid, that's dumb. Why do they do it like that? Why? Because there's a control there's that control frequency. People that have to control for power. It's a power thing. Power is that, people get their rocks off from freaking dominating people and making people scared. And I don't like people like that because a lot of times I was that scared little person. Scared. And people like to scare people that get scared because they're twisted up inside. It's just an off-rock thing. We live on a planet where most of the planet lives that way. Because you make people desperate. You make people desperate. We're going to see more of what happens when you make people desperate. Yeah, it's going to get weird. It's just are going to continually break down and begin to tap into collective consciousness. Because there's a point out there, see, there's only so many truths to be known. There's only so much information, only so many life experiences. There's just, I look at a disco ball with every color spectrum, every color on it, every shade of every color on it. And we have that energy, and it's, fuck. It's losing my thought. It's that stupid song. It comes on every time, and then
at the same time,
I lose my train of thought.
You had a rhythm going.
And it's just gone.
Pick it up, try it again.
Thanks, Ma. So there's only so much data and information that people, and so there's the information, the tangible information, the stuff, science, and not so much science isn't real. It's imposed thought. But stuff that we know. We don't know how gravity exists maybe, but we know that it does because usually when people drop stuff, it falls to the ground, right? Not thinking, and so you have all these different, but we're given imposed thought. So it's just like, You know, go to school. We'll give you the subjects to look at. Don't look at anything else. Anything else is bullshit. It's all crap, right? This is what we want you to learn. Remember this. You can take a test and then, you know, memorize it. And then, but I always did bad at tests, so I didn't do very good in school. But I always looked at the esoteric stuff. Because we have lived lives where out otherworldly things have always happened. So it's weird to me when I come across people that deny these otherworldly things. We just don't, you know. And chances are when you agree on things that are that big, you probably aren't going to freaking... I hate small talk. So it's like, if we ain't going to agree on the big stuff, it's just more freaking people on the planet that are filler people, as far as I'm concerned. Those background people that Dolores Cannon talks about, stuff like that. I'm trying not to get a headache. So, anyway. And now other people are tapping into this data. That's not true, but this stuff is. That's what I found to be true as I've gotten older. The stuff that they say isn't true, I found it to, you know, that's like the stuff that you should be looking at. And if they're saying, oh yeah, this is how it is, you know, oh, all this, then that's the stuff that's the falsity. A lie has a vibration, and people can really pick up on that. And God gives us everything we need to freaking, on the planet, without producing anything, without like making up toxins and putting them in boxins and then people eating crap, you know, that we are given everything we need to sustain life, but people got greedy. People started living for themselves. So if more people start dialing into this data, you know, dialing into the data, it's what your heart space is pointing at. Are you for more for the collective or more for yourself? That's what I got to ask myself every day. Is this good for all of us, Marge, or is this just good for you? Mom says I'm not too selfish. I'm always like saving money for, well, so I help, I have my projects where I go out and I like to do things for people that are having a bad day and stuff like that. So, it's like until we have the place that we can be, you know, we'll be here for another year or so, but until that we got that place where, you know, I can have the fenced yard and stuff like that, you know, I'll be working toward trying to help people that are having bad days and freaking, you know, trying to save to move. And then I go back to my, I still do that a lot though. I still get a lot. When I get donations to the channel, usually I get, I'll keep 49% for me and Mom, and then we give 51% away to somebody else that needs it more than us, because there's a lot more people in the world that need it more than we do. So, you know, it's just about balance. And I think about a teeter-totter. I have my teeter-totter picture here, you know. Like, I think about the teeter-totter, and things don't stay in balance because they stay exactly how they are. There is a little slight distribution of something in there. You know it? Right? Like when you ride a bike, you're going back and forth, you know, you're going back and forth. You're not staying exactly in the middle of anything. Right? And I think that when people are like trying to teach their kids how to ride a bike, I think that's a big, huge misconception that they tell. I'd be like, there's a back and forth. There's a happy medium between you going back and forth. And you find it, and then you do it and it's so seamless that you don't even know that you're doing it. You know, but people are trying to keep this middle. No, we're all full spectrum. We have all light, shadow. You know, it's what you do with your potential. It's what you do with it. Most of the time. So, anyway, I've been running my mouth for quite a while now. What do we got? 30 minutes. That's about my mark. So, Think I'm gonna do some. I was telling Mom this morning. I said, you know what? It's funny how God works, Ma. I said, usually when I'm looking for something in life, like, because I live in a really small town. In Omaha, in the city limits, it was like, I think it was like, when I lived there, it was like 700,000. But with all the little areas outside, it's over 1 million, you know. So, and then I was like, well, I don't want to live in a town this big because it's just all traffic and stuff like that, and it's annoying. And then I lived in Salem, and that population evidently is 174,365, which... And then I was like, nah, it's still too big with all the helicopters going over and all the freaking, all the city plant, they all repair this. It's just, I got a whole folder on the corruption of what Oregon is, from my perception. And then now we live here, and there is only, I think there's less than 8,000 people here. Oh! Less than 6. We're at 5,967. Minus, plus and minus a few, or whatever. Anyway, so there's not a whole lot of helicopters going over here. No flying overhead here, huh, Ma? Not a lot. It's pretty primitive. It's pretty primitive. That's how they like it. That's how they keep it. Everything is exactly the same. Not a whole lot of progress. And I was surprised to see that, like, medicinal marijuana has been around here since 2009. So it became legal a year before Oregon did. And they just signed something yesterday to make recreational here in New Mexico legal. They're all going to do it. They just drag their feet because it's more fun to get paid to do nothing than actually earn your paycheck these days if you're a bureaucrat. I call them bureaucrats because they all get to go to they all went to the freaking little, you know, the cliquey schools and got each other their buddy jobs. When I got to Oregon, man, you should see I posted my resume here and there before. Because when I was in Oregon, I was just like, God, I just really got stupid or something because I can't get a job. I got turned down. You want to talk? That's when my ego started to, because I made all this stuff happen in my life and I got a little too big for my britches, see? Because I was doing all that stuff for me. My ego. What I wanted. I wanted to move to Oregon. And this is the life I wanted, and God said no. This is not the life that you're going to have, so Oregon is going to be very uncomfortable because you aren't intended to be there. But I wanted to be there, and it was very uncomfortable while I was there. What I learned was that was my ego deflation. 67 jobs I got. I couldn't get a job at freaking Rite Aid. I couldn't get a job I couldn't get a job anywhere. And that's when God showed to me that I need to be a stay-at-home daughter. So I was like, well, don't really want to waste, you know, all the effort and energy I put into getting to the Air Force, sucking it up for 6 years to go to college, working on my associates and my bachelor's at the same time so I could be done before my enlistment because I didn't want any college debt, you know, so I put myself through it, you know, so I still have all these abilities and capabilities. I just have to do them from home. But trying to make my way. I've been giving business cards out, my photography business cards I've been networking more in the local community. But I get duped too. Sometimes I get caught up with the wrong people, and it takes me a while to figure out who and what they are, and then it's just like, no, we don't need to hang out. That's cool. Good day to you. So that's what I got to try to keep doing, though, is reminding myself that there's There is really no good and bad. People have looked at me my whole entire life and just like, I mean, they just have all just, I'm just a bad guy. Bad, just bad. And what they're telling me is that they are reflecting aspects that they recognize in me that they see in themselves. And when I meet those people that see that I'm just like this freaking little soft-hearted little freaking, I'm just abrasive. I never grew up, and I've always been a tomboy. So when those things happen, this could be the product of that. Mama.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've kept Mom away from her Longmire. She really enjoys watching Longmire a lot. And there's a lot of storylines in there because art mimics reality, mimics art, it's just a circle, you know. And they're just trying to give it, look over here, look over here, look over here. So people aren't stopping to look inside and get quiet. And that's when you